Well, the thing is, you do need coastal erosion because you need material to form coastlines elsewhere, right? So coastal erosion is a natural process. The problem of coastal erosion is when you start interfering with the natural processes, and then you don't know what's going to happen next. Because one area erodes, a different area will accrete, right? And this is a natural process. But when we start building things in the coast, and these will change these natural processes where the sediment is going to move to and from. And then when you had accretion, you might start having erosion. And if you have people there, and if you have coastal development, if you have activities like coastal tourism, then you have a problem, right?
Yes. I think it's an irony that coastal erosion is actually needed to promote a healthy coastline. If you don't have erosion, you don't have a sediment supply. Without a sediment supply, you don't have a beach. It's as simple as that. And all these structures that are built to prevent erosion ultimately cause problems because they prevent sediment being delivered to the coastline. I think coastal engineering is a very well established field. There are many construction companies, many consultancies which have been doing this for many years, and they have a very set way of doing things. They don't really think outside the box very much. On the other hand, you have people who are more in tune with the science, with the environment, who are thinking outside the box, looking at other ways of protecting the coastline, which are more sustainable. They may be more costly in the short term, but in the long term, they'll be cheaper. And those two opposing sides continually bump up against each other. Trying to resolve those conflicts is very difficult to do. The challenge for all coastal engineering has got to be providing more protection to the coastline, where you have erosion, where you have assets which have to be protected. And it has to be a sustainable solution that society can afford.
Yeah, I think the issue today that I see is that there is this need to be providing multiple functions. It cannot be just let's provide protection against flooding or let's reduce erosion, but also this need to be more environmentally friendly and be more natural, because there is this uncertainty about what's going to happen in the future because of climate change, for example. So people are very concerned that what we are doing or how we are doing things at the moment are already not good and will be terrible in the future. And I think people are trying to reduce the cost of doing things and doing things more efficiently. And that means whatever you spend money on has to provide you more than one thing.
Exactly.
So in many countries, not only in England, they are thinking about how can we build this protection in a way that will offer us more things.
Okay.
So we can justify the money using different objectives or different targets, you know. I think that is one big issue, and that is the future of coastal engineering. You have to be much more creative, work with ecologists, biologists, economists to see what is that we can do that provides that sustainability that people talk about, that people want.
I think the other thing is that I'm not saying coastal engineers are arrogant, but I think there is an arrogance of mankind generally to think that they can control nature, and I think increasingly people are beginning to think that we need to work with nature, not against it. Things like managed realignment are at least a step in that kind of direction, that you are allowing the coastline to do something it would do naturally. And there are perhaps other ways of doing that as well, which coastal engineers should be doing. They should be exploring, using the science, using the tools at their disposal to think innovative ways of protecting the coastline, of engineering the coastline in a different way. That's a tough question. I'm not familiar enough with coastal engineering in Mexico to answer that, but I assume that it is similar to other parts of the world. You know, that it is a hard engineering approach. It's very reactive to a particular problem. So you have an erosion problem, let's do something about it, let's get a structure in there, rather thinking about, well, what's the cause of this problem? You know, how can we address the fundamental reason we've got this problem at the coastline? Step back from the problem rather than react to it immediately with, we'll do a quick fix. Think more long term.
Okay.
And in England, in Europe, I think there is probably a move to more long term thinking. The Dutch, for example, have quite recently done a mega nourishment along their coastline. So I don't know how many million cubic meters of sand were released onto the coastline, but it was the biggest nourishment ever undertaken anywhere on the planet, with a view to providing the sediment that's going to protect the beaches for the next 10 to 15 years. So that's a new approach. You know, beach nourishment's not new, but on that scale it's very, very new. And it is the best solution for their particular problem. You need a beach. The beach absorbs the wave energy, less overtopping. The structures don't need to be built higher to accommodate sea level rise. It's a kind of solution to that problem. I'm not sure that would be a Mexican solution, no. I don't think mega nourishment would be. I'm really not familiar with all the problems here to answer that.